Have you ever noticed ants suddenly marching in straight lines before it rains? Or mosquitoes biting more aggressively right before a storm? It might feel random, but insects are actually some of nature's best meteorologists. Long before weather apps, satellites, and Doppler radar, insects were already reacting to tiny changes in the atmosphere. And the wild part, they're often right. In today's video, we're diving into how insects predict the weather, what signals they detect that humans usually miss, and why their survival depends on it. Stick around until the end, because we'll test what you learned with 3 trivia questions. Our topic for today is how insects predict the weather. For insects, weather isn't just about comfort, it's about survival. Rain can flood nests. Strong winds can blow flying insects off course. Cold temperatures can slow their bodies, and sudden humidity changes can affect breathing. Unlike humans, insects can't put on jackets or stay indoors when conditions turn bad. They must sense changes early and react fast. That's why insects evolved incredibly sensitive bodies that can detect tiny environmental shifts, often hours before storms or temperature drops happen. These signals trigger behaviors like hiding, building shelter, migrating, or feeding more aggressively. One of the biggest weather clues insects use is air pressure. Before storms or heavy rain, atmospheric pressure usually drops. While humans barely notice this, insects feel it through specialized sensory organs and pressure-sensitive nerves. When pressure drops, insects interpret it as danger. Flying insects like bees, butterflies, and dragonflies often stop flying and return to shelter. Ants may reinforce their nests, while spiders might abandon exposed webs. Even mosquitoes become more active, biting more frequently before rain because they sense they won't be able to feed afterward. So, if bugs suddenly seem restless or hyper, rain may be on the way. Insects are extremely sensitive to humidity because their bodies lose water easily. Rising humidity often signals incoming rain or storms. When moisture levels climb, many insects seek shelter to avoid getting soaked or drowned. Ants, for example, often move eggs and larvae to higher ground when humidity rises. Termites may seal tunnel openings. Butterflies fold their wings and perch under leaves. These actions aren't random. They're survival strategies triggered by moisture changes in the air. In other words, insects can feel rain coming before the first drop even falls. Insects don't predict the weather for curiosity. They do it for survival. Weather determines whether they eat, reproduce, migrate, or hide. Missing these signals could mean death from exposure, starvation, or flooding. Ironically, humans once relied on insect behavior to forecast weather, too. Farmers watched ants, bees, and flies to predict storms long before modern meteorology existed. Even today, scientists study insect reactions to improve understanding of climate patterns and ecosystem health. So next time you see ants rushing indoors, mosquitoes suddenly swarming, or bugs vanishing from the air, nature may already be announcing what your weather app hasn't yet. All right, let's see how much you learned. Here are 3 trivia questions. Ready? Let's get started. Question 1. What environmental change do insects most commonly use to predict storms? A. Changes in moonlight. B. Drops in air pressure. C. Earth's magnetic field. D. Sound waves from thunder. Correct answer. B. Drops in air pressure. Air pressure changes are one of the most reliable early warning signs of storms. When a storm system approaches, atmospheric pressure usually decreases, sometimes hours before clouds or rain appear. Insects have pressure-sensitive organs and nerve systems that detect this shift even when humans can't feel it. Question 2. Why do mosquitoes often bite more aggressively before it rains? A. Rain makes them stronger. B. Humans sweat more before storms. C. They sense they won't be able to feed afterward. D. Lightning excites their nervous systems. Correct answer. C. They sense they won't be able to feed afterward. Mosquitoes become more active before rain because they detect drops in air pressure and rising humidity, both of which signal incoming storms. Heavy rain makes flying difficult and dangerous, and strong winds can scatter them or kill them. Since feeding becomes harder once rain starts, mosquitoes respond by biting more aggressively beforehand, essentially stocking up on energy while conditions still allow it. Last question. Why are insects especially sensitive to temperature changes? A. Their wings freeze easily. B. They rely on sunlight for vision. C. Their body temperature depends on the environment. D. Cold air contains less oxygen. Correct answer. C. Their body temperature depends on the environment. Insects are ectothermic, meaning they cannot regulate their own body temperature like mammals or birds. Instead, their internal temperature matches their surroundings. When the air gets colder, their muscles contract more slowly, their digestion slows down, and their reaction times decrease, making them easier prey and less capable of escaping danger. And that's how insects secretly predict the weather, without apps, satellites, or meteorologists. Just tiny bodies, hypersensitive senses, and millions of years of survival instincts doing the work. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution.